Well, that was an exciting episode of Quiz, wasn't it? It's getting really good. I must admit. I was sitting there for a little bit thinking, nah, there's no way that they suspected immediately while the show was going on that he was cheating. But I looked it up afterwards, and yes, they did. They did suspect immediately that he was cheating, and they tried to block the payment immediately as well. What a good segue into football. Good evening, George. Good evening, Mohammed. Welcome back, both of you. Hatfield today, in real life, have announced that they're changing quite a lot actually to do with the club. And the most important thing is the badge. So what I might do, if I can, is get a copy of the new badge. So it doesn't look like this anymore. It's the stag remains. I don't actually know what that is. Top left. I think that's the town's coat of arms or something. So I'm managing Hatfield Town. They play in the 11th level of English football. So if you count the Premier League as the first level, the Championship is the second, League 1, League 2, so on and so forth. Hatfield are in the 11th level. They used to be in the 10th, they're now in the 11th. So the statement actually that was put out by Hatfield today, I should have retweeted it actually, you guys could have seen it. Basically, they've been on the decline for quite a while. They had a new chairman come in, who I think is also the manager, in June of last year. Saved the club from going under, and as part of the reshaping, they're not rebranding the club, but there's a new club badge and there's a new system being put in place to help with the running of the club. So the new badge is a red stag in the middle looking out towards you. It's still got the yellow ribbon, but I think it goes that way, like an N rather than a U. And then the outer rim of the badge is red and all the rest of it is white. So they're dropping the blue, which I find quite unfortunate, but I think it sounds like the guy in charge, I believe his name is Johnny Shearer. Let me check that actually rather than guessing. But it sounds like he really has the interest of the club at his... hang on, I can't type and talk at the same time, as we all know. Sounds like he's got the best interests of the club at heart, and I cannot criticise anyone for having that. So the new badge is a yellow ribbon that runs horizontally across the bottom of the badge, and then it's got a stag looking out towards you, a red stroke around the outside of the shield, and then 1886, which is the founding year of the club, underneath. I quite like it, actually. It's a shame that it's red and not blue, but I mean that's a really tiny gripe for me to have. I thought Quiz was really good. As I said earlier, I do remember watching the show. It must have been broadcast after the documentary went out, because even here they're talking about cancelling the broadcast of that particular show, and they edited it out basically. But I definitely remember seeing the show, and the like, you could see he was quite shifty in the chair. Even in in Quiz, you can see how shifty he is in the chair. I was cringing watching it, and then you have to remind yourself, this actually happened. This is real. You know, this isn't. No one's made this up on the spot for a TV show. Someone did this for real. But yeah, where were we at with Hatfield? So, I've played a few matches off camera. Oxy Jets Reserves was the last match we played. After that, I won 3-0 against Hoddesdon, 2-0 against Nebworth. Had a couple of bumpy results since, 3-2s, a 2-all draw. Some cracking goals in this game, by the way, particularly by their guy, Marriott. One of the goals he scored was phenomenally good. But the one I wanted to show you, I think it was this match. If I watch the highlights, the free kick that Troop scored. It's basically Roberto Carlos-esque. If you watch this, you'll know exactly what I mean. So let's switch this to goals. I think it was this match. There was a volley that Herbert scored as well that was fantastic. That was a nice header to get things started by Aaron Cole. This is Troop's goal. Look at this. Look how much that swerved to find the bottom corner there. And then this is the third goal. Troop's free kick, Walker's header. Keeper did get a hand to it, but not enough, unfortunately. That was a good result. And then we also had a 2-0 here. I think it might have been this game where Herbert scored an absolute thunder blaster of a volley. And then, yeah, some other good results along the way. One bad bit of news was, well, two bad bits of news, I suppose. Our former first choice keeper, Connor Lee, he has left now. He's joined another team. I'm not too upset by that, though, because we've still got some good goalkeepers in the squad, particularly Ajamang, who's been phenomenal so far this season. The other sad bit of news is, where is it? I thought it was on here. Oh, here we go. Crabtree. So he literally came on as a sub in a match and then got injured straight away, and he had a broken ankle, so he was out for 5 to 6 months. That's now down to 6 weeks to 4 months, and he wasn't too happy when I told him that his place would be in the squad when he recovers, so that's unfortunate. So Robinson's been deputising on the bench, Walker's still up front doing exceptionally well, and we're just going to try and blitz through as many games as possible. There's 30 league matches this season. We've already played 13 of them, 1-3 out of the 3-0. So we can probably, if I can get into these matches pretty quickly, we can get through them quite fast, I imagine. I'm just going to have a look at Dinsmore again and see if we can sign him. Have you actually played for Kidlington? Oh, you have. That's annoying. What about Parsons? You're also playing. Might make an inquiry. And then Clifton. He didn't want to join before because he'd only just joined his team, but right now he's only played 4 matches for them. He is interested, so we might be able to get Danny Clifton. And I mean, all three of them are good on their own, but you put all 3 together and you have a team that is capable of winning 4 or 5 league titles in a row. I should confess at this point that the first few seasons look really, really easy. And the reason they look really, really easy is because they are. Because the game is only really down to the levels of National League North and South. So even at this level, all the players we're signing are basically capped at that level, National League North and South. Whereas some of the teams we're playing against, because they're generated players for that league, they're rated a lot less than our players, which is why we keep, scoring lots of goals and winning by huge margins. So there is a little bit of manipulation going on, but you'll find very, very quickly as we get closer and closer to the National League that other teams start signing those that quality of player as well. Then you almost hit a wall. It tends to be around the Isthmian leagues where I hit the wall, and it becomes a little bit trickier to actually win matches, and that's when I have to start tinkering with the tactics. But right now we can. I keep saying we're going to blast through the league, and I sit here on a screen for ages chatting, but we can blitz through this pretty quickly. They want nothing for him. Okay. In that case, let's have a look at Mr. Dinsmore again. Except we'll spell his name right this time. Because I think Parsons can play out on the right-hand side as well. No, he's not interested. Okay. Dinsmore might be, though. And yeah, having Clifton sitting on the bench. I think Clifton can also play left wing. I need to look at other options for the wings, because Crabtree is injured, and the board are a little bit concerned that I keep playing Cole despite him not putting in good performances lately. So I might have to start looking at alternatives. I'm trying to remember. There used to be a player, I think his name was Manny Akioto, who I'd signed before. They've rejected. He's 22 now. I think that's how you spell his name. Nothing? Oh, who was the other one? Olasanya. Toyosi Olasanya. Yeah, he's someone else I used to sign a lot. Not big enough. Okay. Claudio Afusu, are you still at Stevenage? No, you're at Royston now. Are you playing for Royston? Yeah, fairly regularly. If I have a look at Royston... excuse me, team reports, see what we've got here. So George, while you're here, I was thinking about your document that you sent me yesterday. I was thinking about it last night, and I was thinking about it earlier today as well before I started streaming. I think I might have found a solution to one of the problems that I did. And it's to do with the national rail body and then them having no authority. I think what you could do as a solution to that is still have, because basically you want everyone to be liable to someone else, and that's how you ensure consistency across the board. So right now the DFT aren't really liable to anyone other than the government. And because the DFT is government, therein lies the problem. So if you had the national rail body, was that the name? I think it was the national rail body. If you have that comprised of elected representatives from each of the franchise holders and open access operators, then effectively what you've got there is a democratic collection of people who represent the industry, who can then make DFT accountable for their actions. So you would almost have like a two-leveled system of the DFT at the top, then the national rail body, and then all the franchises beneath. So then it becomes like a House of Parliament for rail franchisees. So every time the DFT make a decision regarding awarding a franchise, it should go through the national rail body and be voted on before it becomes official. I think that might be a better solution to the problem. Then you do have an issue of a bit like what happened with Thameslink and Northern a couple of years ago, where the timetable postponements were rejected. But if it's put more towards an official vote like that and actually documented publicly, then chances are I might bow to public demand and actually do the right thing rather than do what's best for them. Right, Clifton has arrived. Let's see what positions you actually play. So you can kind of play right wing. I might start you out on right wing, because once I start playing a player in that position, my assistant will start training them in that position. Like the BR board for privatization. Yeah, to an extent. So I think then, because you can't just take the power away from the DFT, I think that will be something that someone will fight it and that person will most likely win. But once you have like a group of representatives like that, it just creates a bit more transparency for me. Plus, if you read articles in magazines in the future, chances are that the National Rail Body will be the ones lobbying for certain improvements. I also think that Network Rail should have a representative on that, what's the word, in that body as well. Just so that if, you know, again, if Network Rail mess up an upgrade and then, for example, Thameslink can't run their trains for 3 weeks because of it, instead of everyone pointing the finger at Thameslink, they can have their representative on that, let's call it a board for now, they can have a representative on that board that then turns around and says, hang on, it wasn't us, it was Network Rail, and then their representative has to answer, why was this a thing, why did this happen, what could have been done to prevent it happening. So I think that's a good idea. The rest of the stuff, I mean, the service plans you can't really push on people, you have to let them come up with that themselves. The rest of it I think was okay. Still needs a little bit of spit and polish here and there, but you know, for a first draft it's not bad. It's got something to it. Right, we've got Cuffley away, then we've got Western at home. Every time I see Western I always think of Western-super-Mare, even though I know it's not that. So Clifton's currently injured. Oh, 12 days and 4 weeks. Ouch. Yeah, and Crabtree here. Poor Crabtree. Who's not my biggest fan right now. I think I'm going to drop Cole and put Swamney out on the wing. And then Flowerdew is fine where he is. And yeah, let's go for it. I'm also going to try very quickly and get the third kit set up so that we can actually see it in the game, or at least I hope see it in the game. Where did I put it? Oh, I put it in my other folder, didn't I? I'm just going to load that up in Photoshop quickly while this match is playing out. So yeah, any comments, questions, topics that you guys want to discuss, feel free to suggest them in the chat. Let's keep the chat nice and busy tonight. Earlier on was awesome, really enjoyed it, so let's keep up that momentum. It's always much appreciated. Oh man, this kit is completely different to the 2D one. Alright, so I've got Photoshop open. I need to go into Shorts. Not that section. Yeah, these templates, once you get the hang of them, they're really easy to use, but trying to find your way around them to begin with is quite tricky. Where am I? Here I am. Oh. Oh, that wasn't someone getting sent off, I just heard in the background there. Doesn't sound like it was. Alrighty, let's do that, and then if I come back up here, so Shorts, set this up, and the socks. So I've gone with quite simple colours for this. Or at least I think I have. Oh, Cavier have just scored. That's not good. Let's close the properties box for now. Okay, that should work. I'm to the logos. I could have sworn I had logos on the shorts. Oh, I do. Yeah, I do. It's alright. I'm losing my marbles here. Right, save. Save as. Alright, 1-0 down at half time. We could do with pulling our socks up in this second half. If you pardon the pun. Let's copy that and then go Documents, Sports Interactive. Graphics, Kits, Hatfield 3D, paste. Alright, there we go. So hopefully next match now we'll see the new third kit if we're the away team. Oh, you guys can't see the score. Yeah. Good spot, Lucas. I'll move that in a second. Can FM20 load new sets dynamically, or do you have to restart the game? You can load them dynamically. Good goal. Good follow-up from Gillespie. He's back from injury. He's doing well. Yeah, that was me saving something. Photoshop file. So as soon as this match is finished, I'll have to go into the in-game editor just to change. Because when you... Okay, so the kits that you're looking at now on the screen, they are 3D kits that I made in Photoshop, but the game doesn't think it's... How do I explain this? I'm trying not to confuse myself, don't worry. So you choose your kits. Right now, the game thinks our kit looks like their kit, but it's white with a sash, with a different coloured sash, like one blue, one red. You'll see what I mean in a second. When I go into the editor. So this is like a 3D skin that we're playing in right now, but it's not what the game thinks our kit actually looks like. So I have to go in for the third kit and change the kit so that the shorts are blue and not black, and then hopefully we'll be able to see the third kit a little bit more often in matches. The Windows 10 sound was just me saving the Photoshop file so that I can import it back into the game. Glad to see, even in game, that people are staying at home. Hey now, there's 27 people in this stadium, 16 of them are supporting Hatfield. We've got nearly, actually, yeah, we have got pretty much half the fans here are supporting us because we're top of the league. If you were to design a new train for cross country, what features would it have and what would it be nicknamed and who would build it? So first of all, not Hitachi. I don't have a problem with Hitachi, but the fact that every new train right now is a Hitachi, and actually the article I read with Hull Trains is MD the other day, made sense. The reason they chose the 802s, there's two reasons. One, they're a reliable train, they're better than the 180s. And two, if one of their trains was to break down on the East Coast Main Line, it's compatible with a 800 or an 801 from LNER, so it would be easier to recover using an LNER train. Plus, there's also similarity. They did their driver training on GWR 802s and TPE's 802s, which are, for those of you that don't know, Hull Trains' sister companies are GWR and Trans-Pennine Express. So, I mean, in that respect, it makes a lot of sense. But for my personal interest, not a Hitachi. Let's go with something new and different and exciting. Let's also talk about new and different and exciting. Let me turn off the M4J logo so you guys can actually see the score. What I might do instead actually is move it onto the other corner of the screen. Or maybe put it in the bottom corner. That would work better, wouldn't it? And then put the view count on top. It kind of works. Let me know what you think. You can't really see the Twitch number, but I kind of like to leave my logo on the screen at all times, just for copyright reasons basically, so no one can nick it. So yeah, what would I design? I would have probably it's really hard actually, because Bombardier are really unreliable now with the Adventurers. It takes about 6 months longer than the average to get them into service. CAF are having similar problems, to the point where Trans-Pennine Express might actually end up rejecting the 5As with the coaching stock from CAF because it's so unreliable, and they're refusing or not being able to fix a lot of the problems that are wrong with it. So what does that leave us with? Alstom? I suppose Alstom are a good candidate, or Stadler. That's a good one. Okay, I have my solution. The Stadler, the same design that they're using for the Greater Anglia sort of regional trains. I don't think I can change the numbering. I'll have a look in a second. So yeah, the same style that they're using for the regional trains, with the diesel generator car in the middle, but maybe have them 6 to 8 cars long, roughly the same length as a HST. First class at either end. Maybe have the front end, the London end of the train. I suppose cross country doesn't really go to London. What's the biggest city that cross country serves? Edinburgh, would you say? Maybe just have both end cars be first class, and then one of the immediate cars either side. So either the second car or the 7th car be a composite, so part first class, part second class. There should be a buffet on board, and that buffet should also have restaurant car seating. Because if you're on a train for 13 hours, the least you should be able to do is walk up to the lounge car and be able to sit down and look out the window there. Besides that, TV screens built into the seats with a built-in media system, so you can sit and watch films while you're travelling along. Maybe localize it so as you travel through different regions, the programming might change to suit the area that you're travelling through. Big screens hanging from the ceiling telling you how far you are through your journey. Because I kind of see, if you do the Aberdeen to Penzance route, sometimes you do it out of necessity, but more often than not you're doing it for the sake of saying you've done it. So why not actually do it like like when you fly in an aircraft, you can look out on the satellite view and it tells you how far through your journey you are and what the weather's like outside and what the temperature's like outside. Why not have that, like that little feature in the corner of the screen while you're watching your shows, and then on the big screen have it there along with what station you're going to be calling at next. Onward travel information as well, so particularly if you're travelling down near Bristol, for example, maybe it will give you the latest updates on rail routes around Bristol, if there's any delays or cancellations. And like give cross country a proper identity, because at the moment it's all second-hand trains and they feel second-hand. maybe at Birmingham just tell people not to look outside because Birmingham New Street is dark and dingy and horrible. Let me have a look at the view count and see what I can do with it. Where did I move it to? Oh, it's there. I went blind for a second. Are you saying to make your train some inspiration from a Boeing 787? No, 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 no. Not a Boeing, an Airbus. I've had the privilege of flying on both Boeings and Airbuses throughout my time, and I must admit, I hate 737s and I hate 747s, but A320s and A380s, like even turbulence felt smooth. There's just something about it. I've got to remind myself how to change the text. Where's the chat? Right, hang on, let me see if I could do it on Streamlabs. I wasn't expecting to be doing this. All widgets, view count, 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 view count. View account. Background color, text color. There we go. Okay, so I can do custom CSS, although it doesn't actually let me change individual ones, it just has an overall one, so I'm just going to disable that. Try to change it to black. That doesn't really work, does it? Maybe I'll change it to red. Let's wait for the song thing to go away. It's just where it goes onto the white, it makes it trickier to see. Hang on a second. If I make them go side by side rather than one on top of the other, which I think I can do on here. Set to overflow hidden. I'll change the width to like 150. Aha! There we go. Then move it down. That's not what I wanted to do. 1 second, everyone. Please hold caller. I'm going to move it up there. The only thing now is I can't see the number for YouTube, so maybe if I... Properties, let's do a height of like 75 and a width of 200. There it is. Okay, you can't see what I see yet, but give it just a second. Alright, let's try that. Let me know if that works. I can change the text colour again if necessary, but I think that's a little bit better than it was before. Right, where were we? Where was we? Chewabud, hello. Good evening. Really enjoy your quarantine streams, but this game is such a team eater. Team eater? Wow, Alan's inspired us, did he? Playing as a left winger. Oh, he scored the winner, did he? Bloody hell. Oh, time eater. Yes, no, it is a time eater. I'll agree with you on that one. Yeah, it can be a real time sink. One of my cousins, I always get messages from him on Facebook when he has problems with the game. And the reason, like, it's always quite frantic because he has such little free time that when he can sit down and play the game and then there's a fault, he kind of wants to get it out of the way quickly so he can get on with the game again. Yeah, you need to have some willpower to get through it, that's for sure. Alright, you want the text back to white. No problem. Yeah, that's a lot better actually. It's kind of have four corporate colours. I have the blue and the red, which everyone most recognises, but I also have the black and the white. And the white actually, I mean, really the three main colours are blue, red and white. A bit like London, a bit like, you know, UK, France, USA. But the black as well works really, really well, and I'll show you what I mean. So if I go club info, these are the three kits. But if I go to the, oh god, where's the pencil? There it is. And go allow licensed kits. This is what the game sees when it's deciding what kit we should wear. So you can see how they're kind of like the ones we actually wear, but a little bit different. So I couldn't find an exact stripe that also fades down, for example. And this one here, I mean, it's pretty close. And then you got this one here too. But if I now go into preferences, and I right, I need interface. Interface, and then there should be somewhere down here. This is a different setup this season, which makes it difficult. Minecraft is 1.2, but you can quit and start whenever you want. So yeah, at the moment I've been running Minecraft overnight. So once I finish my night stream, I turn off whatever game I'm playing, go onto Minecraft and just leave it running overnight. The quarry is finished, by the way, so we can move on with starting to build the bank site now. I think your voice is too quiet compared to the music. Is it? Is everyone else thinking that too? I can turn the music down a smidge. Let me know if that's a little bit better. I could have sworn there used to be an option to refresh the cache every time. Ah, there it is. Reload skin when confirming changes. I enjoy you playing Minecraft, but to me it's too heavy modded though. My complaint with Minecraft right now is I'm doing a lot of waiting a lot of the time, whereas really I want to be getting stuck in and you know, these are what the kits actually look like, by the way, what they're supposed to look like. I always want to get stuck into stuff and start building things and things like that. Then a lot of the time I have to sit and wait for things to load, or you know, in this case it was wait for the quarry to finish, and it can be a real pain in the arse waiting for it to finish. 1 0 1 2 8. So I'm just going to change the colour of these socks and shorts quickly. I'll leave the outline as red, and I think that could be as it is as well. Then I've just got to go and allow licensed kits again. Right, so now we should be able to play in our third kit. I have my volume at half, I can hear you fine. Music does seem a bit loud. It's really weird. Some days it seems really quiet, some days it seems really loud. I don't mess with the sound mix or anything during streams. It just seems to happen. In Minecraft, you said the quarry is finished. Have you also cleared the water? No, that will be happening on stream next time. Because now the quarry's finished, there's so much we can get on with. I'm probably going to fall down the hole quite a few times trying to get that done though. The big thing I'm now stressing about is the fact I've got to try and find some stuff to fill that hole with. And I think what I'm going to have to do is use saplings from the tree farm to create dirt blocks. It's creating like a safety net now, so I might go down like 10 blocks and then put a 5 block deep dirt layer and use that as the foundations to build the bank on top of. So underneath that 5 block deep dirt foundation there's going to be a 60 block drop down into the abyss. So I might leave just a layer of water at the bottom of that, so if I do fall down there by mistake one day it doesn't kill me. Clifton, you dumbass. You've only just signed for me, you're telling me how to run my team. That's not on. Actually, I might just disable scouting at this point, because I only want to bring in players from my youth teams to improve what I've got. It looks like Googe is being retrained as a central midfielder. I don't mind that. I think that's not a bad thing at all. You've got Cold. Yeah, we'll send you home for that. So we're in December now. You know, was it just yesterday we started the season? Now we're in December. It flies by. It really does fly by. I think what I might do with Minecraft is not the mods as such, but limit my use of them and focus a bit more on the vanilla aspects for a while. Have you done the calculation for me? So it's 64 by 64 by 5. That's how much I would need. Which is 20,480. Yeah. Now, how many stacks is that? It's 320 stacks. I think I've got 64 stacks currently in storage. So I'm going to have to quintuple the amount of dirt I've got. One of the good things about having a tree farm, because a tree farm, particularly a Steve's Carts tree farm, is essentially an unlimited supply of wood and saplings. And I can also use apples to turn into dirt as well, I believe. So I've got lots of saplings and apples just lying around not doing anything, some of which are being turned into water to make obsidian, but the majority of which are just sitting around in barrels. So that's something I can do. I'll have to check how my boring machines are going as well. I might see if there's a way to change, maybe in the config, so it doesn't drop gravel but it drops cobblestone instead. That'd be a game changer. We'll see about that one though. Right, Youth Take Preview. Bloody hell. So this is this is what's new for this year. So you used to have an intake day around about March, whereas now it kind of randomizes throughout the season, and you get this report that tells you what kind of players you've got coming through. So we've got a healthy number of new fullbacks, which is good to hear. There are a lot of wingers, which is great to hear, because the wide positions are really where we're struggling right now. We have what looks like a top prospect in the centre of midfield. We have one good Belgian central midfielder from Vilvoorde. Is it Vilvoorde or Vilvoorde? I think it might be just Vilvoorde, who's caught the eye, and there's an excellent group of players coming through. The negatives, attacking midfielders are hard to find. I'm not too fussed. We've got two that are good in that position. No new wing backs. Again, we're not really playing with wing backs right now. No defensive midfielders. The next crop of wide midfielders do not look like good prospects. But again, we use wingers rather than wide midfielders. And there are a few good wingers in general. There are a lot of wingers in the system. So is it telling me that we've got a lot of wingers but not many good ones? That's a bit worrying. Also, I would quite like to see like a preview of who these players are, because hopefully they're not the ones we've already got. Who knows? I'm basically learning as I'm going at this point. Alright, is everyone happy with the UI now? Where the chat is, where the logo is, all that good stuff. I might have to come up with variations with the logo in different places and stuff. This is one of the reasons why I don't have a webcam as well. One of the reasons is so I can sit here in my pajamas while I'm streaming. The other reason is because there's nowhere really on the screen to put it. I used to have like a border on the left hand side and along the top, but you have to shrink the screen down for that. And I know you guys aren't really here for me, you're here for the game. So seeing me taking up most of the screen probably isn't the best thing. Alright, come on, next match. Let's get on the road now and start playing these matches. We've got Western. We've got Western at home, so no third kit today. Am I going to change the team? I think I might bring Cole back in for Swamney. He's had his medicine, he's dropped to the bench. Let's play football. Here we go. Want to see a good performance from the lads. I mean, I say that every match. It should go without saying. Marriott with the free kick into the middle. Good block. Calendar with the clearance. Oh, I don't think Walker was going to be chasing that one. Didn't look like it. Time is flying by now. When I'm not streaming and I'm watching matches, I tend to watch in real time just to see what's going on. Why have they brought Allinson on as a left winger again? Strange decision. I mean, if it is possible to retrain players like that, I think that's actually a good thing. That my biggest success with retraining a player is I once had a winger with a really good tackling stat who wasn't very good as a winger, so I trained him up as a right back, and in the Premier League he played, so this was in League 2 I think, I started training him as a right back, and in the Premier League he was my right back for 4 seasons before I think he hit 30 and started to decline. His name was Dale Irving, and it's probably my proudest achievement on Football Manager was retraining him, because as a winger I probably would have sold him, but as a full back he was my best right back for something like 7 or 8 years. And he was a youth graduate as well. He came through the Hatfield Academy. This was before I started redesigning kits. So back then he was wearing actual Hatfield blue. Although Hatfield from now on, with the new badge, they're also going to be playing in red from now on. So I'm getting slight Sunderland vibes. As long as it's not red and white, I don't mind. But if it's red and white, I'm sorry, but I'm going to go support Hitchin or something instead. I'm going to tell myself now, once the quarantine is over and we can all go outside again, I will go down and watch a Hatfield match. No, you're not going to score from there, Allinson. So what about you, George? How would you design a new train? What would you put in it? I think cross-country is a really good example as well, because it's the only open access route really that's a franchise and not open access. It's kind of like full fat open access really. They don't own or run any stations. Most of their track is run by other companies. I think even their depots are run by other companies as well. Alright, Troop with the free kick. Into the middle. Poor header. Gonna shoot? No, it's ins, don't shoot. Back to Troop. Back to ins. Somehow gets past. Shot blocked. Pick it up, Troop. That's it. Cross it, cross it, cross it. Bit lackluster that. Wow, even... Oh, hang on, they made a sub in the second half, I think. So I say even they've made a sub now, but I think that was... pretty sure that was in the second half. We made all ours in the first half, as per usual. Right, Arnold. My left back is playing right wing for some reason. Troop on the ball. That's a great pass out wide if Cole gets onto it. He does. cross. Walker's header over the top. Over the top. Not good enough. You guys can still hear me, right? Chat's gone very quiet. I'm getting worried. Okay, Arnold's now playing left wing. Oh, that was a good effort from Cole. Shoot! Ah, no, don't shoot. If you're going to shoot like that, don't bother. Not good. How long left? Not long at all. We're going to lose our position at the top of the table at this rate. Sandrid Rovers, what are they, 4 points behind? We have to pull our fingers out now. Nil-nil draw. Not great. Need to shape up. So we've got Bush Hill Rangers next. We've already played them twice this season. We've beaten them twice this season. I'm not panicking just yet, but when you have a run of results where you're not really picking up points, or not picking up wins, I should say. Let's put some perspective into it. We are still unbeaten, but when you're not picking up wins, you kind of want to address it early before it becomes a serious issue. It might be worth starting to create a second tactic soon. Let's have a look at the league and who's the top scorer. Ah, Walker. There we go. So Ingray is the second top scorer. How old are you? 26. Scout you. See how good you are. Assists, Troop at the top. Then Herbert, Flowerdew, Eves. So, I mean, 11 assists for Troop. That's insane. Most key tackles, we're at the top of that as well. Oops. Least conceded, it's also us. Most clean sheets, also us. Jake Turner, that name sounds familiar. Where do I know you from? Don't know. Maybe when he was at Scunthorpe, might have played against Stevenage. Wow, we are... Wow. Aaron Cole gets 57% of his shots on target. Quite surprised by that. 12 unbeaten now. So, Clifton, how long have you got left of your injury? 7 days and 2 weeks. Just typing in the chat if anyone can actually hear me, because it's about 3 times now I've asked and no one's replied. Am I still on Twitch? Yeah. Alright, Golfer can hear me. No one on YouTube's replying though. Laurie Calver. Oh, you're a youth. Right, finally someone on YouTube. Thank you, James. Good stuff. We'll have to remind myself to edit the Euro Truck video for this week. Yeah, it's because of everything else that's been going on, plus doing these streams. It just completely slipped my mind to get that video edited. Plus there's some stuff in that video that I might have to cut out. Might have to watch it again to make sure that everything there is still current and up to date. Dumb thing is, I think that video was recorded before the quarantine started. So that was, what, 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago? Must be about 4 weeks ago now. Assuming I still have that. That one might have actually gone out. In which case I need to record and edit a video. It's even worse. It's more work. Excuse me. Come on. This is an exceptionally long load screen. There we are. You. I want to loan you. I want to loan you. Let me loan you. Wait, what? Oh. Excuse you, Met Police. Oh, your name sounds familiar. Southampton. Might be an interesting signing. God, next match. Need to just rack up the matches now. Every team has a blip mid-season, sort of December, January time. At least ours so far, touch wood, we're not losing, we're just drawing. I reckon a couple of little tweaks here and there for players. We should be fine. Come on. There we go. So, if I was to create a second tactic now, which I don't think I'm ready to do just yet, but I have an idea as to what I would do with it. I think what I'm going to do right now is swap ins. Probably with Hassel, because he's got the lower rating out of the two. And then switch you like so. I hope we get done. We don't get done with the offside trap. Still in only the away kit. Alright, let's go. Third kit might bring us luck. I'm wondering if it's because the goalkeeper kit has black in it. So that might be a reason why. 4 points clear. We're halfway through the season. There's 14 games left after this one. Which means if there's 14 games left, there's 42 points to play for. Good save. Good shot from Flowerdew, actually. That is right, isn't it? 14 times 3, 42. Yeah, I don't know why I doubt myself. We're 4 points clear at the moment, so we really need to win. Just trying to work it out. So the other team, so the team below us, Sandridge, they also have 42 points they can win. So we need to win 39. So basically right now we need to win 13 of our remaining matches, in order to guarantee the league. This is a good start from Walker. Oh yes. That's one way to get it going. So that gives us an extra 2 points. So we're now, what, 6 points clear? Unless Sandridge scored. Did Sandridge score? No, oh, now they've scored. So we're 4 points clear still. We got so many matches left. There's no point in starting to work it out now. Yeah, Sandridge are 2-0 up now. Win that troop. Nah. You gotta challenge for it there. This whole attack could have been prevented. Oh, what a recovery save that was. Get out of his way, Calendar. Wait, Calendar's not... Oh, a Calendar is out there. Yeah, get out of his way, Calendar. Alright, chew bud. Oh god, your text changed colour on my restream app. Thanks for coming in though. Looking forward to seeing you on the next one. If you have any requests, by the way, for games that you want to see, head over to my Discord and put them in the stream ideas list. Space Engineers is on the list. I'm kind of waiting for some stuff to happen before I start doing that though. But any other game suggestions that you might have, feel free to suggest them. We'll see what happens. But yeah, thanks for coming in. See you next time. Oof, right off his head. Come on. The real nice composure that we were showing at the start of the season. I suppose the weather doesn't help. It's wet and horrible. CIM2 just for the history. Oh god. If my PC will let me. The last time I streamed it, it crashed. Oh, great goal. Is that Walker again? It was. He just flicked that on then. I'm not against the idea of CIM2 though. I mean, Skylines is one we're playing at the moment. Kind of recreating stuff from Cities in Motion in Skylines. Built a massive airport earlier today and linked it all up. Bloody hell. Even I've not watched all of them. How many were there in the end? Was it 200 odd? Who knows? Fingers crossed there might be a Cities in Motion 3. Maybe if they do a sequel to Skylines, it might have some more elements of Cities in Motion in it as well. Some of the mods have helped in Skylines. Some of the things I've built right now, I wouldn't have been able to do in Cities in Motion. So I'm really happy that we've been doing it in Skylines. It's a good collaborative project. People suggest things and I desperately try and build them. It's worked out so far. Alright, 2-0 up half time. Good stuff. Let's build on it. 2 great goals from Walker. He's on a hat-trick. No subs in the first half as well. I think that's the first time this season that's happened. See you later, chill bud. Have a good evening. I think there'll be some more Skylines tomorrow. There might only be one stream tomorrow though, so it'll be a toss-up between this and Skylines. We will see. Alright, Herbert on the ball. Tidy pass. Cole's got pace to burn if he actually gets on his bike, which he hasn't. Ooh. Maybe some more Minecraft next time. I really want to see what you do with this site. What do you think will fill the 64 by 64 by 60 void beneath the dirt layer in the bank site? I mean, that's a good question. To be honest, the bank is only going where the bank is going now to try and fill up as much of that hole as possible. The quarry wasn't supposed to be that close to the starting base, but at the time I was desperate for resources, so I just shoved down a quarry and let it go. Really, it was cobblestone that I was trying to get a hold of, so that I could process it into all the different ores. But I think I don't know, because the original plan was to build the quarry out of the city somewhere and turn it into a diving site, and so people could put on diving suits and go diving, like maybe build some structures down there for them to explore and stuff like that. But beyond that, don't really know. I'm open to suggestions. Storage, possibly. Like storage drives and barrels and stuff like that. It won't fill the whole gap, but it'll be something that can go in there. Also, for some reason... Oh, that's a good goal from Troop. For some reason, that message didn't appear in the stream chat. Just on YouTube. Hang on, I'm just going to type a testing message. Ignore it for now. I'm just checking to see if YouTube is going through. Yeah, it is. Huh. I don't know why your message didn't go through then, James. But yeah, any suggestions? Any suggestions for that site, feel free to offer them. I think the bank itself might be 20 blocks from the surface before I put the dirt layer. It'll still be the same number of dirt blocks, but just slightly lower down. And using 5 thick dirt blocks means if I do need to dig down for a little bit more room, I won't go straight through the floor and into the void. Plus it means I don't have to clear all of the water, just the first few levels of it. But I think it's that little pond that I was testing the sponge thing with the other night. I think it was one of those that I built the quarry on. So I don't think it's a deep lake or anything. I think it's only a few blocks deep. So if I can get rid of the top couple of layers... Oh, there goes a clean sheet. If I can get rid of the top couple of layers, that might... Was it offside? I was offside. Yeah, the rest of the water might drain away if I just get rid of the first few layers. It's only because it's such a big hole that it feels quite daunting to try and clear it all out. I don't even know how I'm going to go about it, you know. Maybe I'll just drop sand down. That could work. Like fill up all the bottom with sand. That's not the worst idea I've ever had, you know, because I can do that from the top, place it and let it all flood down and then just dig it out as and when I need it. You know, the Burj Al Arab in Dubai is built on a bed of sand. It's not the worst thing to do. Plus we have it in abundance because we have loads of cobblestone that we can turn into gravel and into sand. We might do that instead. And then I won't need to use those sponges. Good block. Go on, lads. 7 minutes. Let's get a clean sheet. So right now we've got Troop at right back, Cole at centre back, Gillespie at left back, Allinson in defence midfield for some reason. I'd have put Troop there myself. Hassel also in central, or defence midfield. Well, it worked. We saw it out. Wasn't the preferred option for me, but there we go. So it's another win. It's also shaken off a little bit of malaise that we were carrying from previous matches. Walker did exceptionally well there. 2 goals and an assist. How many is that he's got for us now? 15 and 16. That is Dinsmore level of goal scoring, that is. That is pretty bloody impressive, I tell you. Come on, game. I'm thinking some general maintenance in secret areas. Example, build a backup power system so if the main system fails, the backup can restart the main. What was this overtime thing and why? Which overtime thing? Do you mean added time at the end of the match? It's called injury time. Or added time. Basically, if there's injuries or if if one of the teams makes all 3 substitutions and some are considered to be time wasting, then the referee adds additional time onto the end of the match or to the end of the half as well. It can happen just to try and compensate for that. It tries to encourage teams to not time waste, but it doesn't really have that effect because they just waste time during added time as well. I like the idea of a backup power system, particularly with applied energistics. If your power system goes down, you can't access your storage. So if we had a backup power generator or a backup capacitor built underground, linked only to the bank, then if the power went down for whatever reason, that could then start up and power the bank, to then feed the reactor to start the rest of the city again. But normally the power only goes out if the reactor blows up, which has never happened to me, or if it runs out of material, which hopefully by the time the bank and everything else is up and running, we'll have so much yellorium or uranium that we would never have to worry about it running out. I'm talking like months if not years down the line, it will still be powered. We'll see though, we'll see. You never know. I do like the idea of the backup, but I think we will put one of those in somewhere in the bank, in a hidden area. Yeah, let's do that. Charles Kitely. Clifton resumes full training. So you'd scored how many? You've never scored a career goal before. Okay. Flooding with confidence then. I'm trying to think what we can build in City Skylines once we've done the retail park. I guess just more office space and then move on to the next district of the city. The city has to grow before we can, extend the airport. I just turned on my Xbox by mistake. That's probably going to mess up all my... Yep. It's going to mess up all my screens. That was dumb. Hang on, I'll read your chat message in a second. Oy vey. Right. Where was I? That. And this. And this. Are all on this screen. Right. The backup power system should be able to provide enough power to 1. Power the essential components of the AE2 system and its dependencies, and 2. Restart the main generators. Yeah. So using either Computercraft or using Redstone, you can have it set up so that if the main capacitors of the city fall below a certain amount, then the backup ones will kick into gear to power the bank, and also maybe a bank of smelters to create more yellorium or uranium ingots that will then power a separate logistics network that will feed those ingots into the main reactor. So you can build that as a completely segregated backup system that is only activated when the primary system fails. Minecraft is incredible with the things you can do like that, because you can even do that in vanilla to an extent. You can have certain redstone circuits only triggered if another redstone circuit fails. And a lot of people use that as exploits. You know, a lot of failures, in inverted commas, are the reasons why a lot of redstone contraptions actually work. Which is why a lot of people get pissed off when Mojang announce updates and they say they're fixing these things. To a lot of players, they're not broken. Alright, let's bring this guy in on trial. We'll have a look at him. I can't imagine us signing another player this season. I think, unless Parsons or Dinsmore change their mind, or both, I doubt we're going to be bringing anyone else in now. I think we're pretty much set. Plus we're linked with all these players that I've never heard of. The game knows. If it shows just a random player name, it knows I will check it out. I've got to break that habit. Right, the Aubrey Cup. Do you remember that? We played one match at the start of the season. We're now playing in the quarter-final 3 months later. Oh, we're only 3 points clear at the moment, but we have a game in hand. So we could potentially be 6 points clear by the end of it. Our goal difference is very healthy, but then third place is only 5 behind. So there's a lot to play for still. This league is far from over. There's a lot still that could go wrong. There's a lot of managers getting sacked in our league as well. So I'm just glad it's not me. Right, so Clifton, I'm going to stick you on the bench instead of Robinson. Just for this match. Now, I've got nothing against Robinson. I think he's fine. But I just want to see if Clifton comes on and what he does if he does. That sentence didn't really make sense, did it? But there we go. Playing at home, so we're in the famous red and blue. Blue and red. Blue and red. We're so low league that our fans don't even come wearing shirts. They just come in their civvies. Twain with a delicious ball out wide there, actually. Flower Dew cuts onto a stronger foot. Ah. Cole would have had to have done a lot to get on the end of that. Troop losing out, as per usual. Inns, I don't think knew much about that, and yet he blocked it. So, credit there at least. Eves throws it to Herbert, who knocks it back to Eves. Cool as you like. Oh, that was a good flick on. Cole needs to be running onto those. I'm sure I've got him set to attack. Calendar, very brave, passing it across to Inns there. Arnold is in acres on the left-hand side, but then that's a nice ball to Flower Dew. He picks out the run of Walker. Ooh. Just lost it at the end there. Free kick in. It's a good ball, actually. It's a good chance. We got lucky there. Well blocked by Arnold. Flowerdew with a cross. Ooh, Cole nearly got on it. Callender dinks it forward. Walker heads it down to Cole. Back to Troop. Goes for goal and blocked. Cole to Walker. Oh dear. You could see him leaning back when he hit that one. Nowhere near. Troop with the free kick. Round the wall. Back of the net. I like Troop. I think Troop is my favourite player so far. I mean, Walker's good, don't get me wrong, but Troop and Flowerdew providing all these goals. That's so deft. Beautiful strike. That was nearly an assist from Troop there. Walker's header just about pulled away by the goalkeeper. He is playing with fire, that keeper. Troop again with the ball in. Cole that time with the header. Up and over the top. Unlucky. Free kick punted forward. Callender, I think he was heading that down for Eves, who then didn't chase it up. Let's hope this doesn't cost us. Ooh, I thought we had it back there. Oh, it's a great block. It's a shame it fell to their guy. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. We had our chances to win it back and we didn't take them. Who made the tackle? Was it Inns? That was Arnold. That one there I thought was enough to win it back. It just fell to their number 9. Buried it. Good header. Arnold picks it up, goes long, just misses Flowerdew. Their guy keeps it in. He plays it long. Oh, Inns. Oh, Inns. You missed the ball. 2 goals in 2 minutes for them. This was a nothing ball forward. Inns just left it. And he didn't have the pace to catch it. That is really, really poor. Power plant failed in Australia in December 2017, causing a 140 millisecond outage. A very short duration is due to Tesla's battery system because it would normally take hours to recover from failure. I wonder if anyone actually noticed. You know, 140 milliseconds is a very, very short amount of time. 0.14 of a second. Is that right? Yeah, 0.14 of a second. So I wonder if anyone noticed, or did they fess up like a year later? Alright, come on lads. We've got to recover this one now. There's me standing there on the touchline, arms crossed, looking thoroughly pissed off. They're just playing around us right now. Good block, Toyn. Right, Troop, do something useful with it. I'm okay with that. Ajimang, why not go out wide right? And again, wide right. No. Oh, okay. We got lucky there, Herbert winning that one. Flowerdew running through. Didn't get a shot off. I think Flowerdew and Cole have swapped wings, haven't they? Maybe they did just for that moment. So Omni and Hassel coming on. I think that's the first time we've made subs in the second half of the match. Oh my days. I might have a look at this Mariah Welsh. Yeah, so Omni on for Cole. Hassel came on for Arnold, believe it or not. I didn't think Arnold was playing too badly, to be honest. There we go. Troops ball in. Inns tried to bring it down. Inns is having a shocker for me. I'd have taken him off. Toyne foul. Chance for Troop to cross it. This could be a goal. This could be a goal. The fact it's showing it to us as well. There it is. Herbert with the header. We're back in the game. 25 minutes left. We're only a goal down. That was well taken. Just headed it back across goal. Into the back of the net. He's not offside. Guy on the near post was playing him on. I could have told you that. I'm not at all biased. Right, Pope with the kick forward. So that's a great touch. That's a great ball forward as well to Flowerdew. Can you find Walker? Crosses it in. No one there. Troop to Swamney. Hits the post. Keeper collects it. Second chance. We're really gunning for it now. We've gone 4-4-2. Gillespie's on as well. Walker's shot. Get in. Please be onside. No! He was offside. He's offside there. Okay, I think it... I don't know though. Is that not a second phase when it's headed down? Yeah, we're going 4-4-2 now, so we're trying to get back into this. Now we go 3-4-3. Ah, Troop. That wasn't a good free kick. I have an idea. In City Skylines, make a district that consists of a village with a population of 1.01k. Oh! I see where you're going with this. Call it Subtown or something like that. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Maybe have each house... I was going to say have each house... Each house can represent a subscriber, I suppose, but I can only name a few, because I don't think my entire subs list is disclosed. That was our first defeat of the season. Actually, was it our first defeat of the season? Can't have been. Wow, I lose one game and they're talking about me losing my golden touch. Harsh. Harsh, people. Harsh. Oh, we lost here as well against Sandridge. And then we lost against Cockfosters. Alright, I'll change the team a little bit. I'll put Thomas in at right back for the next game. I might put Googe in at left back instead of Arnold for the next game. Put Arnold on the bench though. Actually, I'll put Eves on the bench because Hassel can play left back. And you know what? I might even put Clifton at right midfield. We will see. It's harsh. As if I've lost my golden touch. I English very correctly. Did I say something wrong? It's late, what can I say? It's nearly 12. My tongue gets tired. Crabtree begins rehabilitation phase, so he's almost back. Then we'll have 4 strikers, which we might well need at this rate. Excuse me, I'm just going to mute my microphone. I think my cough is a mix of dusty environment. I need to tidy my room. And I think it might be a bit of hay fever as well. I haven't had hay fever for a while. So it could well be that returning. Oh. Oh, you're being goofy. Fair enough. I'll bring you in. You're a really good central midfielder. Dinsmore. It's just Dinsmore. I really want to bring Dinsmore in. Among others, include myself, De Silva, Mohammed, Tom, that guy Bob, has named buildings in the district. Description, if possible, include the phrase subscribe to M4J Gaming or equivalent. I like that. That's a really good idea. I do like paying tribute to subscribers as well. You know, I mean, a lot of people have been talking about mental health lately to do with quarantine and isolation. Fortunately, I'm quarantined with my family, so I'm not isolated. But even then, you do have moments where, you know, your mental health isn't the best it could be. Plus, as I've said before, I've got a few other things going on at the moment that have knocked 6 a few times, let's say. So it's one of the reasons why I'm committed to doing these streams, because I know it's not just me, and I know I actually have it quite good in comparison to how other people might be right now. So I try and do my little bits here and there to give entertainment to you guys. Whether it's, you know, City Skylines building an airport, or whether it's on here getting our asses handed to us by a team that we really should have been beating. You know, even on Siege, I might do another Siege stream soon, watching me die in calamitous ways. It's all just to give that little bit of enjoyment, that little bit of distraction from what's going on in the world. Welcome back, George. Yeah. So, you know, at the end of the day, the whole community was built around the idea of like-minded individuals with a shared interest. And that's what it's, you know, even now it's what it's all about. So that's why I get annoyed when people don't take part in the chat, because, you know, as well as me putting these streams on for your mental health and your entertainment and your enjoyment, I also need a little bit back for my enjoyment and my mental health and, you know, my well-being. I don't think it's too much to ask just for a little comment here or there. But there we go. We are very healthy financially right now. Oh yeah, Brexit. Haha, can you imagine? Ireland will continue to be treated as non-foreign to the nations leaving the European Union. Yep, fine. We don't need to worry about this for like 6 or 7 years anyway, so it's no problem there. The academy has a new assistant manager. A bit of a meh one, but everyone right now is meh. Even my stats are meh right now. But I really like the idea of that sub-town in Skylines. Maybe that real nice section to the west of Bankside where it's right on the water's edge. We might build there. We'll have like a village pub in the middle. That kind of thing. Because I could just flood it with buses and metro and stuff, but I think I might just leave it quite quiet and tranquil. And that's our own little space. So everything I do now, all my work from now on, where I'm building stuff, there will always be a section devoted to those who followed me. Whether you followed me from the start or whether you started following me yesterday, there'll always be that little area that is yours. So, you know, the Guard City project, there will be a section devoted to subscribers there as well. You might have buildings named after you, for example. OpenTTD, there's always going to be areas of the map. Plus Kilo Sub Park Depot on the Great Eastern network. And I think my favourite one is going to be Planet Coaster, because in Disney tradition, if you become a Disney legend, you have your name put in a window on Main Street in one of the parks. I'm trying to think of an example. It tends to be related to what you did as a job for Disney. So there's a woman, Alice Davis, who used to be a costume designer for some of the animatronics, and I believe her window says like Alice Davis Taylor, something like that. I need to find out exactly what it says. But I was thinking of doing something like that with Global Ventures. So around the park there'll be windows or shop fronts that will have probably your YouTube name, and then how you contributed, maybe what number sub you were, if I can find out that information. And I mean, maybe not. I think patrons will get windows in the main sections of the park, and then subscribers will get little sections like hidden around. Because I think it's important to pay tribute to both. My channel wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you guys, that's for sure. Alright, West Sports. Then we got Sandridge Rovers, who are second in the league. So that's a good chance to find our feet again. And then we got Royston Town Reserves in the Aubrey Cup quarter-final, which according to the I have to win. Oh, my match has been postponed. Slightly annoying. Waterlogged pitch. I've never been down the leisure centre when it's been raining, but I imagine that could be true. I was about to say our academy played, but they didn't play at home. Look at that. You know it's good when you've got to fit all that in. Wait, where's the league table? I thought the league table was here. Okay, so I'm going to move finance and salary to there, and you're going to be league table. So we're still 3 points clear at the top. Hopefully 6 points clear after this next match. I believe we have a game in hand now too. So this is where things start to fall into place. I compare pit stops to playing chess, and at this point in the season in football is like playing chess as well, because you start to get games in hand against opponents, and it's all about how you deal with those. Why does this keep resetting? Do you know what, I'm just going to put league table down here. I kind of like having that big triangle there. I wonder if I can ask for any more board requests right now. Really? 200 grand in the black right now. We're in the transfer window, so in theory our DOF might start trying to sign some players for us. I'm not going to stand in his way if he does. We'll see what he comes up with. Who is that? It's Guillaume Balaguer, isn't it? On DOF. But yeah, this stage of the season becomes like a dance. So 3 points clear, we've got a game in hand, and we're coming up against second place. So by the end of these matches, we could be 9 points clear. Which then means, you know, they have to win 3 games without us picking up a single point just to catch up with us. Then goal difference comes into it, because we've got such a good goal difference that we'd probably still be ahead. So there's all these little things that are starting to fall into place that makes it very, very difficult for another team to win the league ahead of us. You still here, George, or have you popped off again. Looks like my DOF is busy appointing staff at the moment. Another scout. 1 and 1. Great. Well, we have got some players starting to appear on here now. Most of them over the age of 30 by the looks of it. A 43-year-old midfielder. Who I think, aren't you the guy who's mainly a defensive midfielder? I'm still here. So that question you asked me earlier about if I could design a new train, what would it be? I'm going to flip that question on to you. What would you design if you had the ability to? Or the opportunity to, I should say, rather than the ability. I'm really tempted to have a look at some of these people. I don't think... Oh, Levi Porter I've signed before. I think because I'm so focused on youth this year, I just don't want to sign anyone really, really old, because it will piss off the board anyway. And apart from mentoring, they're not going to improve the team because they're constantly getting worse. Maybe I'll bring in Masendo just to play in midfield. You are 21, so the board aren't going to be annoyed. And as I've said before, if you're conceding too many or not scoring enough, chances are it's your central midfield that's the problem. How's Clifton? I'm going to start you instead of Cole. And see how you do. You're probably going to get subbed off really early, but we'll give it a go. So we have no sub striker on the bench. Playing in the home kit. Let's go. Toyne. Oh, flowered you. That was such a nice ball out wide from Toyne as well. What a waste. Cheeky free kick. Disguised pass. We nearly tackled him. Oh, no. I talked about Adjaman yesterday having safe hands. That's a howler. Powerful strike. I mean, who's this guy here? Herbert. Look how close he came to winning it back. He's just thundered it. I would go for a bi-mode 9-car set, which would have screens in each carriage similar to TPE, would be a similar amount of seats to an 11-car Pendolino, and include a buffet of some sort. So we're on a similar way of thinking. I should have said actually that my design, I mean I mentioned the diesel generator in the middle, but yeah, bi-mode. I actually think my design would be, as well as being bi-mode as in overhead electrification and also a diesel generator, I think I might also put a third rail shoe on there as well. So when it does operate, just trying to think how much of the network that cross-country operates is third rail. Very little. Unless they introduce services to Brighton again, in which case that would be useful. Just so it's running on diesel only when absolutely necessary. God, I thought he'd scored then. Because we're definitely not at the stage yet where hydrogen can be used for high-speed trains. Oh, good header. Good header. Herbert with a goal. He's really good in the air. Like I said earlier, I'd like it if there was a modular train that had standard blank engines, wagons, as well as various modules, including seating module, dining module, entertainment module. How would you distribute that across an entire train though? Say you had a train of 9 carriages. How would you, would you have each carriage would have 4 modules in? Oh, another goal. Oh, Cole came in, did he? Yeah, for Clifton. And he scored. Well, that's me told, isn't it? Maybe fit batteries as well. Possibly batteries. Maybe have the diesel generator thing in the middle, and then either side of that have the same thing again, but instead of a diesel generator, line it with batteries instead. So like the diesel generator could be a last line of power if the batteries start to run out, or it just keeps the batteries topped up whilst they're powering the train. Yeah, how would the modules work? So every carriage would have a seating module, a dining module. So like you almost have your, you and like 12 other people might have a whole carriage to yourself. Or is it just going to be one carriage be seating, one be dining? Modules would fit onto the blank engines and wagons, 2 to 3 per engine, up to 4 to a wagon. Other modules would include a battery module for electric train function or a sleeping module. I suppose North America sleeping cars are just as important as normal cars. Do you know, I'm almost tempted to say, for our carriages here for cross country, try and make them double decker. It's going to be tricky to fit them in the UK loading gauge still, but I know that Oliver Bullied designed some double decker carriages back in the day, which didn't really work, but kind of proved the theory. Oh, Walker, thought he'd scored. So maybe if you have a really low floor on the bottom level, so like when you step into the train, you then step down into the bottom level, you could possibly fit a second floor above. I don't know, maybe that's wishful thinking. But that'd be really good. Particularly again for cross country. You can almost treat Aberdeen to Penzance like a tourist train then. Put like an observation car. Bubble ceiling, that kind of thing. I feel like the Rocky Mountain. Rocky Mountain Express. Alright, Troop with the free kick. Herbert's header. Oh, c'est magnifique. C'est magnifique. It's that combination. It's like Aspilicueta to Morata. This time it's Troop to Herbert. He makes a late run, beats his man, keeper has no chance. That is a gorgeous goal. Gothard with the corner. Good header from Callender. I noticed that Cole's been brought on to play left back, and Googe is actually playing left wing. It's an interesting tactic. Is that offside? No? Would that meet PRM requirements on the double-decker longer 26-metre cars would do? Might have to go for longer cars. Maybe have, again, I'm trying to think how wide is a train. I think I might have to give up on the double-decker idea, because I was thinking about putting a staircase and a lift, but that I don't think that would fit. Even like a stair lift type thing wouldn't work. And yeah, both stories are only accessible via stairs. Maybe have one carriage, one first-class composite carriage at the front, be single-decker wheelchair accessible. Because you have to be all accessible these days. Oh, what a header that is as well. Multiple modules per wagon is not fully possible, then a modular train config is still an option. For example, a fixed passenger car and engine, plus an entertainment car with multiple modules. So the rail jets that operate in Austria and other parts of Europe, they have like an entertainment car. I believe it's the non-powered end. So the driving trailer has like a child's playroom type setup in there. I'd never seen that. I think they also have like theatre cars and stuff like that. It's quite innovative. So I like that idea. Oh, I thought that was going in. Yeah, I like these ideas. I could easily design a train for North America because they've got so much better loading gauges than we do. Even mainland Europe does, to be fair. You can put double-decker and slightly wider cars and stuff like that, whereas over here we're so Victorian, everything's got to be narrow, fit through bridges and tunnels. Isn't it on the Brighton main line, some of the tunnels there, you could barely fit 2 trains through? Okay, George, no problem. I'll see you tomorrow. I don't know quite yet what games we'll be playing tomorrow, but I mean, you'll know before the stream starts, obviously, because I'll post it. Gillespie on, Hassel is on as well. I think now it's just keep it at 4-1. Don't need to score, but it'd be preferable if we didn't concede. That's a tasty cross. Oh, for God's sake. Who blocked that? Was it Herbert? Cole was onto a good clearance there. Gillespie with the header there. Brooks picks it up. Herbert chasing. Herbert does get a foot in, but not enough. Cross comes in. Harmless. Still 20 minutes left of the match. Can't get complacent. It's far from over. They got plenty of time to score goals. Mind you, so do we. Let's see what Flowerdew does with this. Not really troubling anyone. Herbert, why are you not chasing that down? And also, why is my left centre midfielder not covering? Good challenge, Gooch. There's no point getting that, Walker. You will be offside. And he's onside. And the chance of that being chalked off. Yeah, they're blaming Twin. I think, is it Thomas at right back? Let his man go. Train routes have been converted into roads, pathways and parks before. Has the opposite ever completely happened? Roads stripped out, replaced with rail. Trying to think. Oh, good effort. Good save. Not. I don't think road. Maybe. Oh, yeah. Okay. So some heritage lines have occasionally moved roads, or when routes have reopened, roads that were built on top of the previous route have then been altered slightly so that the new route can go through. So the Waverley route, when that was reopened in the, I think it's the Borders Railway is the official name for it. Runs along the border between Scotland and England. When that was reopened, some roads and even some buildings were moved to make room for that. When the Channel Tunnel rail link was finally completed, actual houses, they moved actual houses to build that route, which is quite extraordinary. I suppose the origins of railways in Victorian times in the UK, they built on top of canals. Like they filled in canals and built the rail on top. So we've kind of had that. And then rails get torn up and roads get built on top. It's kind of the natural progression of industry. Come on, 2 more minutes. I reckon 3 minutes of injury time. So 5 minutes of the game left. Don't concede. Bloody hell. Good save, Ajime. I genuinely, for a second, thought that was going in. Alright, corner. It's not convincing, is it? It is not convincing. Okay, good head away. Cole now boots it forward. Oh, I was slightly off with the injury time. 4 minutes instead of 3. That was a good block from Walker. Just killing time now. No pressure. No pressure. Just don't give away any fouls or anything stupid. Good block. Good block. There we go. That's a great result. Chicago, Illinois was raised 1.5 centimeters ago for foundationary reasons. Has the same... Did I say 1.5 centuries? Yeah. Has the same ever happened to London or any other British city or town? Yeah. There's lots of cases now where, like for example, High Speed 2 work in Birmingham. Digging out the site for Curzon Street, they're finding remains of old railway infrastructure that was in place back then. So I wouldn't go as far as to say an entire city is being lifted up, but we have a habit of building on top of previous infrastructure. So a lot of Roman era buildings have been discovered, especially near where I live. Verulamium, which is now St Albans, is only like 10-15 minutes away from where I live. So a lot of Roman stuff was discovered there. They literally, you know, you get to medieval times and just build on top of it. Sometimes they knock down a Roman wall and use the rubble as foundation work for something new. Disney World, this is a massive segue, but Disney World in Florida, the Magic Kingdom, is actually built on the second story. The ground floor, as it were, is a series of corridors called utilidors. I think it's got something to do with the high water table in Florida, so they built that at the basement level and then built the Magic Kingdom on the floor above. It's kind of interesting when you read into it. Some pretty cool stuff. Really good technology. Most of it was built in the 70s and it still works now. Excuse me, just finishing off my drink. I'm starting to learn to drink during streams so my voice doesn't crack. I know you guys probably don't want to hear me slurping from a bottle, but at the same time, my throat has been getting sorer and sorer and sorer. This is the 21st stream, I think, or the 22nd stream. I think it's the 21st, isn't it? Yeah, this is the 21st stream I've done over the last 3 weeks. It's quite a lot of streams. Streaming twice a day as well. Probably isn't good for my voice. Oh. So I'm going to be a little bit mischievous now. Because of the league we're in, it is possible to go and see what players your other, like your rivals have. Can I not? Oh. Maybe not then. What I was going to do, in fact I might be able to do it from this screen, is... Didn't you have a different name? I could have sworn you had a different name. I could have sworn their number 9 had a different name. I'll scout you anyway. But yeah, every time someone scores against me, it used to be a joke with football that every time someone scored against Man United or Chelsea, they'd sign them the next week. Some of these players, I think because they're all... Oh, you do have a senior squad, but yeah, you can't look at anyone. Alright, never mind. Maybe in a couple of leagues' time. It's like building the underground, subways, railways, roadways, etc. and only then building the surface level stuff. I'm still okay even with only one stream per day. I like streaming twice per day. I just need to discipline myself a little bit more. Because I've had problems with my vocal cords in the past. Which I very narrowly avoided surgery when I was younger. And I have quite a naturally loud voice. Which means I'm constantly like booming. And it just kills my throat. So there might be streams where I don't say much. There might be streams where I say I won't say much and then end up saying lots of stuff anyway. But I don't mind. But yeah, to go back to the underground thing, you know, cut and cover is one thing. I guess, like, imagine like London. They built the Metropolitan line first, and then built all the districts on top. That's basically what the Magic Kingdom is. It's really, really clever. All of the utilities, all of the trash. They have a system. It's a pneumatic system that you put trash in a trash can, and then every so often, the pneumatic system sucks it out and sends it to a single collection point. And that was built in 1970. In fact, 1970 it was built. 1969 to 1971, basically, Magic Kingdom was constructed. And it was built then, and it still works now. It is incredible. And it's all hidden away. And it's all because one day Walt Disney was walking through Disneyland in California, and he saw a cowboy walking through Tomorrowland to get to Frontierland. Because there was no other way for that cast member to cross the park apart from walking through it. So when Disney World was being designed, they worked around it to stop that from being a thing. Right, I think, Arnold, you've suffered enough. And I think we'll bring Eves back in at right back as well. I think you've all been punished enough. Crabtree's nearly back. A couple more weeks. And a couple more months. Harsh. Let's play. The thing that would make my life a lot easier is if the chat did most of the work for me during a stream. So I don't mind chatting away like this, but at the same time, I need it to be interactive. You guys ask me things, I'll answer them, or you request things and I try and build them. Having the music on means I feel less pressure to talk a lot. Or in Minecraft, you fill the pristine old surface with stuff meant for the underground, then layer on a new surface layer, ideally at least 2 meters thick, and building on top of that. Yeah, essentially. I apologise for constantly coughing. That's killing my throat as well, to be fair. Troop with the corner. Walker with the header. He glanced it when he should have flicked it. Damn you, Walker. Come on, don't dick around with it. That's what costs us. We mess around, they get the ball, go on a counter and score. Just like they dicked around with it there. Flower due to Walker. Good save. Corner. Good follow up there from Walker actually. Most often they let that kind of thing go. Troops kind of lost his radar in this match, it seems. There's a couple of poor set pieces. Okay, end of that highlight. Half time approaching, we're not really threatening. We are on top, we're dominating the match, but we're not creating enough chances for my liking. Come on, Troop. One good ball. That was a great ball. Herbert again. Oh, there you go. He found his radar. Hidden behind one of the corner flags, no doubt. That's where I'd hide it. That's just inviting to be put in the corner. Really, really well taken. Alright, second half. Let's do this. Not a good header. Good challenge there, though. Not a good pass. Win that. Yep, no pressure. Get there. Get there. Oh, bloody hell, Calendar. What are you doing, man? They better not score. Lucky, lucky boy. What the hell was he doing? He did the hard bit, just didn't chase the ball. You trying to give me a coronary? Bloody hell, the opposition has made a sub before we have. There you go, Swamney on. Cole moves to left wing. Flowerdew off, Toyn off as well, Gillespie on. Clifton on now for Walker. I'd like to see Clifton get a first goal, if possible. Let's see what he's got. Eves on the ball. They're letting him have a run with it, aren't they? No pressure. Finds Troop. Back to Eves. Now we're being forced back. Into Herbert. Eves again. They trust him with the ball. Nice touch, Troop. Finds Clifton. Good ball to Swamney. Goes for goal. Keeper saves. It's always a tight angle. You're not going to get much from there. I think I'll play one more match after this one, and then I'll wrap things up. Gives me time to go downstairs, watch a little bit of TV before going to bed. These days are flying by at the moment. 6 hours I streamed for earlier. It felt like 2. Right, come on, get the ball back. Get the ball back. Someone please go out to him. Don't let him cross, for God's sake. Alright, well one, ins. That's it, just hold on to it. Don't mess around with it. Don't mess around with it. That's kind of messing around with it. Oh, Herbert. Oh dear. We're getting so lucky. I don't think Royston Reserves are the best team, because so many other teams in our league, for example, would have punished us. Fortunately, this is a cup game, so we're probably the senior team in this. Herbert's knackered, that's probably why he's making mistakes. He's run nearly 12 kilometres. He's a cam. You know, he probably should be doing about somewhere between 5 and 10. He's done 12. Clifton, on the other hand, hasn't even done 3 yet. Come on, boys. 3 minutes. Good block. Well held, Adjumang. Good goalkeeping. Comes out, commands the situation. Calms everyone down. Okay, Clifton on the ball. Finds Calendar. Troop. Just holding it up now. Just holding it up. 20 seconds left. For God's sake. That is poor. That is really poor game management right there. I mean, this game is programmed that once you get into the last minute, very rarely will a goal be scored. But in real life, it goes until the whistle blows. So giving the ball away like that is inexcusable. But we rode our luck. We came out on top. We fluked to win. So yeah, one more match. We'll play Ware Sports at home. And I'll wrap things up. I might play a couple of matches again between now and next time, just so we're getting a little bit close to the end of the season. I'd like to see when the next round of the Aubrey Cup is as well, because I'd rather not play that off camera, but it depends when it is. That's all the way down here, so I could probably fill all these league matches between now and tomorrow, for example. Hatfield enjoying life. Jeffrey's having masterminded his hats to 15 victories over the past 20 games. Yeah. As I said, this level is quite easy. You just have to sign a few good players and a few good positions. Their only concerns are to do with defeats and draws that I can't change now. They love Troop. It's a shame I can't tie down Troop to a better contract. We can only offer him non-contract terms right now. If you've had a football match that was not very interesting, i.e. little to no interesting highlights. In the game, yes. In real life, most definitely. Most Stevenage matches I went to this season before the season was halted were boring at best and absolutely atrocious at worst. But I kept going because I am a loyal supporter, despite what I might say on stream. I do love Stevenage. I do love Newcastle as well. Not been to a Newcastle match this season yet. Who knows though, with the way the fixtures are scheduled to go once the season starts again. Might be able to grab a couple. Last season I went to see Newcastle play Fulham at home, which was a 0-0 draw. And I went to see Newcastle play Arsenal at the Emirates, where we lost 2-0. And I must say, the Fulham match was awful. And I wasn't very well. That's when I had my headaches. Which I think were migraines caused by stress. That seemed to be what the doctors went with. It was all stress related. And I had tendinitis in my shoulder, which was also stress related. Plus all these colds and flus that I kept catching, which was stress related. You might notice that a lot of that has gone away now. The stress seems to have eked away over the last couple of weeks. But yeah, that was awful. The Fulham game. The Arsenal game was quite entertaining actually, despite the score. I did enjoy it. Lacazette and Aubameyang scoring. I can't really say anything bad about that. To actually watch them both in the flesh. Two players who very nearly signed for Newcastle once upon a time. Both playing for Arsenal and doing very, very well. Yeah, it's a what might have been moment. The reason I'm looking at this guy, James Harper, he played for Reading. I remember him playing for Reading. He's also played... I mean, he played in the Premier League. Did he play in the... Oh no, I thought he played in the Premier League. Oh, he did. Duh. Up here, for Reading. On a scale of 1 boring to 10 exciting, have you ever had any recent real-life matches worth 10 excitement points? Ooh, recent? Not recent. Not ones where I've been attending recent. I think that the most exciting match I've watched recently, and I say recently, it was before Christmas, I believe, was when Newcastle beat Chelsea. Actually, no, that was after Christmas. When Newcastle beat Chelsea, it was live on Sky. So I wasn't at the match, sadly. I'd have loved to have been at the match, but I wasn't. Newcastle's a long way away from here. And again, in North America, 400 miles might not seem like a long... not 400, 200 miles might not seem like a long way, but to us in the UK, that's the length of the country, basically. So, to see that last-minute goal, we scored in the 94th minute to win it. Son Maximan cross headed in by Isaac Hayden. That was exciting. In the dark days of Stevenage, when we were non-league, we used to have some really exciting matches. And even up until like a year ago, we had some really, really exciting matches. This season has just been really, really bad. And I hope whatever happens, whether they stay up or go down this season, I just hope next season we have entertaining matches again. That's all I really ask for as a football fan, is just to be entertained. Whether we win or lose, that can kind of come second fiddle. But Stevenage used to have a manager called Darren Saul. He was sacked 3 years ago now, and replaced with a guy called Dino Marmaria, who I'd rather not talk about. We've had 3 more managers since him, including someone else I'd rather not talk about. But Darren Saul, we never really looked like winning matches, but we always looked like we had a goal in us. We could go 2-0 down and draw 2, or we could go 3-0 up and draw 3-3. It was just entertaining. And I miss those days. At the time, obviously I'd have preferred it if we'd won. And I wasn't too upset to see him leave, because I felt like something good was around the corner, and it never really came. But yeah, right now, I miss those days. That was fun. So it's been a long time since a 10. That Newcastle-Chelsea match was a 10. Newcastle beat Man United at home before Christmas as well. That was a 10. Every time Son Maximan gets the ball, it's more like an 11 than a 10. He's so good. How the hell did we sign him? I do not know. Do we bring the guy in? Pending transfers. Ascendo. Yeah, we're still negotiating. I swear this changes every time I look at it. It's one of those things about football, though. A 0-0 draw can still be the most entertaining match you've ever seen in your life. Just no one scored. You can have 12 shots on target, 112 shots on target. It can always be different. On a scale of 1 boring to 10 exciting, what is your average excitement rating for Newcastle last season and Newcastle this season? So in England, the football season starts in August and ends in May. So we refer to, like, this season is the season is the 2019 to 2020 season. So the season before that was the 2018 to 2019 season. So 2018 to 2019 wasn't particularly exciting because we had Rafa Benitez as a manager, who I absolutely admire. I think he's a fantastic manager, but he obviously had a remit to not get relegated. So we played very, very defensive. You know, we sat 10 men behind the ball at all times, basically. Whereas this season, we've got a guy, Steve Bruce, who's a local guy. He's from Newcastle. And we're still playing defensive a lot of the time, but when we do get the ball and drive forward, we've got two really fast players, Sol Maximan and Miguel Almiron, and they are lightning quick. So it is very, very entertaining watching those two play, and they were just starting to link up together well before the season was halted. And we have a guy up front, Joe Linton, who was just starting to show what he could do. So I think this season was more entertaining than last season, even though we're about the same in terms of position and points. You know, sometimes it is literally about the performance. You can have the same number of points as you did the year before, but you feel like you're doing better because of the type of football your team is playing. Oh wow, Masendo is actually good. Those stars will decline over time as we sort of get to know him a little bit better and realise that he's not perhaps the brilliant player we thought he was. But I think for now, I'm going to put him in the starting lineup instead of Toyn. Put you as support. And then Toyn, wherever you've gone, you're going to sit on the bench. Probably instead of Swamney, actually. So we have no direct sub-winger. Clifton can come on and play right wing. We'll see how that goes. So last match of the stream. As I said, Stevenage this season, it's probably easier to not talk about it because it's just, we're so bad. Bottom of the table. We've had 4 managers this season. None of them have I think we've won 3 matches all season. We've had more managers than we've had wins. It's just been awful. And it's so sad because this season off the pitch, we did so much good. We finally built a new North Stand, which we've been trying to do for about 10 years. We held a boxing match over the summer. A guy called Billy Joe Saunders, who's made a right tit of himself lately. But, yeah, he made a video that was really, really stupid. I think he's apologised for it now, as he should. But, you know, Stevenage were live on Sky boxing. It was really entertaining. They did really, really well. I think they had like 30,000 people or something there watching it. And it was a really good advert for what Stevenage Football Club can do. And they've opened this new stand. They've got a brand new events company running from that stand with function rooms and all sorts. The chairman launched a share issue or bond issue over the summer where fans could invest in the future of the club. And it's all kind of gone a bit skew-if. I don't think the chairman's done anything wrong, really. Some people are pointing the finger at him, but I don't think that's particularly fair. Have you ever had a Newcastle Hatfield match in real life? No. Newcastle have never played Hatfield Town in real life. However, in 2010, Newcastle played Stevenage in the FA Cup. I think it was the... Oh, that's Go Walker. I think it was the 4th round. Might have been the 3rd round. Stevenage have had a few journeys in the FA Cup, let's say. One year... I'm trying to remember the order that it happened. So I think it was the Newcastle year. We were in League 2. We were 18th in League 2. And we played Newcastle on the 8th of January. And I remember that because it's my dad's birthday. And he's from Newcastle, but he supports Stevenage with us. and it was held at Stevenage. Newcastle had played Stevenage in the FA Cup before, back in 1998 I think it was, and Stevenage took Newcastle to a replay at St James's Park and lost, sadly. I think it was 2-1. But this time around, it was at Stevenage again, and Newcastle lost 3-1 against Stevenage. So it was a really weird night because we celebrated all 4 goals. And, you know, pretty much everyone around us in the stands knew that we supported both teams. So we celebrated all 4 goals. It just so happens that Joey Barton scored a really good goal for Newcastle. But that was a really surreal night, but a really good night. And then Stevenage played Reading in the next... Oh, what a header, flowered you. Stevenage played Reading in the next round of that FA Cup that year and got knocked out. But then the next year, we drew Reading again, and we beat them at their place. And that took us to a match against... This was when we were in League One by then, because after we beat Newcastle, I think we only lost like 2 more times that season. We finished 6th. And then we won the playoff final at Old Trafford. And I wasn't there because I went to Wentworth to watch the golf instead, and I regret it ever since. But yeah, the next year we beat Reading, then we beat Notts County, who back then were good, and then we got Tottenham. This was Tottenham that had Jermaine Defoe, Gareth Bale, Adebayor, you know, Modric playing for them, and we played them at Stevenage first, and we drew 0-0, and we went to Tottenham for the replay. And we got there late. We missed the first 3 minutes of the match because our train was delayed. And we missed Stevenage scoring the opening goal. 3 minutes in, they won a penalty and Joel Byram scored it. I think we went on to lose 3-1 in the end. Defoe scored twice and I think Bale scored the third. But for a brief moment, Stevenage were beating Tottenham at White Hart Lane. And I've watched it back on TV. It was never a penalty. Pretty sure Byram dived to win it. I think it was Byram who dived to win it. Someone dived to win it. It was never a penalty, but it was well taken. And yeah, 1-0 up. And you know, even since then we've been to Reading again in the FA Cup. We've played Everton in the FA Cup. We played Stoke and Southampton in the League Cup. It's been a roller coaster journey for a team that really have been punching above their weight for the last 10 or so years. Stevenage have been in the Football League for, it'll be 11 years this year? 10 years this year. 10 years this year. That's right. 10 years this year. And it looks like we might be finally succumbing to it and dropping back down into non-league, which would be really, really unfortunate. But whatever happens, I'll be there next season with my season ticket. I'll keep going back. They are my team. I know some people have given up on them this year, and to those people I say, screw you. You're not a real fan. It's a shame the club needs the money, otherwise they'll probably say you're not welcome back either. Alright, come on Hats. Let's push on. I also found out today through that press release that Hatfield aren't called the Hats, they're called the Stags. So I need to change that. Hopefully I can do that in the editor. Hit it. Oof, bit tame. I would love it if Hatfield got high enough up the football pyramid that they could play Stevenage or Newcastle. That'd be a hell of a game. I don't know what would happen then. Because I think last season, Hatfield would have been in the FA Cup. This season, I don't think they are. I think they're too low down. But last season, they would have been in the FA Cup. You have to be in level 10 or above. And if they were playing at Birchwood Den, which in real life is just a field, what would happen if we got to like the first round proper of the FA Cup? Would we have had to have borrowed a stadium for a day? Or what? I actually don't know what would have happened then. You can't have Man United playing in a field next to a Tesco. That's quite funny to think about, you know. Is it that you need the extended database because Hatfield Town is not included in the standard database? Yes, that is correct. So Hatfield, so that in terms of playable leagues, Football Manager only goes down to the National League North-South. Hatfield do still exist in the database, but you can't play as them. So what this extended database does is it adds the extra leagues that you need in order to be able to play as Hatfield. So it's kind of like it's like activating the league. There's a lot more to it than that. I think I'm dumbing it down a fair bit because Dan does do a lot to flesh out the teams. He gives them their stadiums, for example. Sometimes he adds players in as well, here or there. All the cup competitions as well, they get created from scratch because there's no point having them if the teams don't really play in them, if that makes sense. There's a lot of work that goes into this database, but effectively it's like activating the league so that you can play as these teams. Oh, I felt a big cough coming in. So there's lots of other teams. There must be hundreds of teams included in this. If you think until the National League, it's all standard, one league per level, but once you get to the National League North-South, it splits into two. And then if you go below that, I think it splits into 2 or 3, maybe even 4. And then from there on, it keeps splitting multiple times. So level 10, for example, has like 20 leagues. Level 11 has even more. So all these teams that we're playing against, you know, Ware is 15 miles away, I think, from Hatfield. I think the furthest team, just looking through, I think the furthest team might be Cockfosters, because that's basically North London. Nebworth is just up the road. It's a little village just outside Stevenage. Royston is just a bit further north than Stevenage. Sandridge is on the way to St Albans. They're all really, really local, within sort of a half an hour drive. That's how local it gets at this level. Whereas in the Premier League, you know, Newcastle have to go to Bournemouth, and it's like a 7-hour rail journey. What's the lowest level league you can start in? So this database currently goes down to level 13, but Dan's working to make it go down to level 20. And he's also added in, you might have seen in the first episode, there were 2 extra leagues, Jersey and Guernsey. I don't think they get promoted or relegated into any of the other English leagues, but there was a high demand for them this year. So that's a whole new system, the Channel Islands. That's a whole new league system that he's added in as well. But level 20 is the lowest official leagues that you can play as in Football Manager if you get that database, and I think it's also the lowest that English football actually goes to at the moment, where it's an organised league. You might still have like pub leagues and stuff like that, but I don't think they're included in the... I think that's too far down. It used to be 22, but they reworked the league structure for this season, so it's decreased to 20 now. Right. How did Masundo do in that match? I didn't actually see. Walker, though, getting a goal and an assist. He is awesome. Our main man. It's going to be really hard to say bye to him, actually. He's our new Dinsmore, essentially. But that will do for this stream, guys. Thank you very much, everybody who's come out and watched. Thank you to those who took part in the chat as well. I don't mind chatting trains while playing football. These are my 2 interests at the end of the day. If I can, I don't know, chat trains whilst playing football and watching theme park videos, I'm basically in my element. That's me on Cloud 9. But yeah, thanks James, to George, to Tom, to Chewabud. I think Mohammed was here earlier as well, was he not? I had to close the chat and open it up again, so I might have missed that. Who else was here? Oh, Bob was here earlier as well. And Lucas was here too. Yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't done so already. It really does help out the channel and I really do appreciate it. Besides that, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. You can also hit the follow button on Twitch. You can hit the sub button on Twitch as well if you have the Twitch Prime free subscription, but it's entirely up to you. And yeah, drop some comments down below, leave some ideas for tactics, transfers, any player recommendations or staff recommendations. That's always appreciated too. And until next time, I will see you soon.